Welcome to Loincoin Currency in your pocket change. You might be carrying something that looks ordinary but could potentially be worth a small fortune. That's right. Today we're diving deep into the story of the 1989 Lincoln cent, also known as the 1-cent coin, and why some collectors believe a rare version of it might just be worth up to $99 million. Now, let's take a moment to look at what makes the 1989 penny so fascinating. It's a coin you've probably seen 1,000 times, but there's more than meets the eye. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, when it was introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the original wheat penny underwent several design changes over the decades. But the obverse, with Lincoln's bust, has remained largely unchanged. In 1989, the reverse of the coin still featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo that had been in use since 1959. This means that on a 1989 penny, both the obverse and reverse carry a legacy that stretches across generations. What makes the 1989 penny potentially valuable isn't just its age, it's the mint mark, condition, strike error, and sometimes even the planchet it was struck on. The United States Mint produced the 1989 Lincoln cent at three main facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint coins have no mint mark, the Denver ones are marked with a small D, and the San Francisco coins typically have an S, often indicating a proof coin. Now here's where things get interesting. Over 7 billion Lincoln cents were minted in 1989 across all facilities. That's right, billions. On the surface, that would make the 1989 penny one of the most common coins ever made. So how can one be worth anything, let alone millions? The answer lies in the rare errors, collector demand, and the incredible grades that a very small number of these coins can achieve. First, let's talk about error coins. These are coins that have something unusual due to a mistake during the minting process. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and transitional errors are just a few examples. One of the most famous and valuable types of error is the double die. Although the 1989 penny isn't known for a dramatic double die like the 1955 cent, there are still some lesser-known varieties that are being discovered, and some of these can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how prominent the doubling is and where on the coin it appears. Another factor in a coin's value is its grade. A coin graded MS-70 by a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC is considered to be in perfect condition. Now, most 1989 pennies are far from perfect. They're typically worn, scratched, and discolored from decades of circulation. But occasionally, someone will find one in pristine condition, and that's where the value skyrockets. Some mint-state examples of the 1989 D penny, for example, have sold for several $100s at auction. One coin graded MS-69 red fetched over $1,000. That's already impressive, but it's only the beginning. Then we move to proof coins. The 1989 S Lincoln cent was only issued as part of a proof set and never intended for circulation. Proof coins are struck using a special process that makes them shiny, mirror-like, and highly detailed. They are packaged for collectors, not for use in everyday transactions. These coins are beautiful, and when preserved in perfect condition, they are highly sought after by collectors. A perfect PR70 deep cameo-proof penny from 1989 could fetch a strong price on the market, often in the $100 to $500 range, and sometimes more depending on demand. And then we have the legends. Whispers of mysterious, ultra-rare 1989 pennies that were struck on the wrong planchet, or using the wrong die. Coins that were never meant to exist. Some say there's a rumored 1989 penny struck on a bronze planchet leftover from previous years. If such a coin were authenticated, it could be worth tens of thousands, if not more. Some people believe there may be a unique transitional error from 1989 involving a planchet swap between cent and foreign coinage. These rumors often circulate in coin forums and auctions, though few are ever confirmed. Still, the mystery drives collectors to search their change. So where does the $99 million valuation come from? The truth is, number 1989 penny has ever sold for that much, but in the realm of collectibles, hype, and speculation, people often dream big. Some sellers on online marketplaces post listings with ridiculous price tags, often with little justification. You'll see eBay listings for a regular circulated 1989 penny going for thousands or even millions, but that doesn't mean they're actually worth that much. Most of those listings never sell. They are clickbait, hopeful gambles, or misunderstandings. Still, they feed the curiosity and excitement of collectors and casual viewers alike. That said, if a previously unknown error were to be discovered, let's say a double denomination error involving a 1989 penny struck over a dime, or a foreign coin, and if that error were unique, certified, and auctioned with media buzz, could it reach 7 or even 8 figures? It's possible in theory. Coin collecting is a world where rarity meets demand, and where historical context, eye appeal, and storytelling collide to drive value. Let's not forget the role of nostalgia. The 1980s were a turning point in American pop culture. People born in the late 80s are now in their 30s and 40s, and many are rediscovering childhood memories. For some, finding a 1989 penny in brilliant red luster takes them back to a simpler time. Add in a grading label, a nice plastic slab, and a compelling story, and suddenly a copper-colored coin becomes an object of desire. But for every dreamer listing a penny for $99 million, there are serious collectors and dealers who understand the nuances of numismatics. They study die varieties, mint records, population reports, and auction results. They know how to spot zinc rot on a 1989 penny, how to distinguish between machine doubling and true double dies, and how to tell if a coin's been cleaned, altered, or artificially toned. And they know that while the average 1989 penny is worth only face value, a perfect example with a dramatic error or incredibly high grade could be a true treasure. It's also worth mentioning the material change. By 1982, the composition of the penny had changed from 95% copper to a core of 99.2% zinc with a thin copper plating. That means the 1989 penny is mostly zinc. That also means it's more prone to damage, corrosion, and issues like zinc rot, which makes surviving pristine examples even rarer. Coins that have avoided this damage are more valuable, especially when they exhibit full red color, a strong strike, and minimal contact marks. Collectors today use digital tools, coin microscopes, and third-party grading services to hunt for varieties and track sales. They scour garage sales, estate collections, and pocket change in search of hidden gems. And some of them even make YouTube videos, like this one, to share what they find. So what's the takeaway here? Should you go through your change jar looking for 1989 pennies? Absolutely. It costs nothing, and you might just find something fascinating. While it's extremely unlikely you'll find one worth $99 million, you could stumble across a coin worth $10, $100, or even more. At the very least, you'll gain a new appreciation for the coins we take for granted every day. The hunt is part of the fun. The thrill of discovery, the joy of collecting, the satisfaction of finding something valuable where others saw only a common coin. This is what keeps the coin collecting community alive and thriving. So, the next time you see a 1989 penny, flip it over, take a closer look. Check the mint mark. Look for signs of an error. Check the color, the luster, the strike. Use a magnifying glass. Use your phone. See if it's a regular strike or a proof. If you think you've got something special, have it graded. Even if it turns out to be worth just 1 cent, you've learned something, you've had an experience, and you've joined a tradition that stretches back more than 100 years. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, one day you'll be the person who discovers that legendary era coin, the one everyone's been searching for, the one that defies all the odds, and proves that even the humblest coin can be worth a fortune. Until then, keep looking. Keep learning. Keep collecting. Because every penny has a story. Would you like me to format this as a voiceover-ready script with pauses and pacing indicators? Have you ever held a penny in your hand and thought it might be worth more than just 1 cent? Well, today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in recent numismatic history, the 2016 Lincoln cent. It might look like just another ordinary coin, but believe it or not, some collectors and headlines have placed wild valuations on specific versions of this coin, with rumors of some being worth as much as $99 million. That's right, $99 million for a single penny. But how could something so common possibly be worth so much? Is there any truth to these claims? And what should you look out for if you think you might have a special penny in your collection? Let's go back to the beginning and explore the fascinating world of the 2016 Lincoln penny. First minted in 1909, the Lincoln cent has gone through numerous changes in design, composition, and minting errors, making it a hotbed for coin collectors. The 2016 Lincoln cent continues the reverse design introduced in 2010, known as the Union Shield reverse. The obverse, of course, features the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. But what separates the 2016 Lincoln cent from others isn't just the design, it's the mint marks, mint errors, and extraordinary conditions that have sparked intense interest and speculation. The 2016 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 main U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck in Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from Denver are marked with a D, and San Francisco pieces, typically proof coins, carry an S mint mark. The regular business strike coins were produced in the billions, over $4.5 billion from Philadelphia and around $4.3 billion from Denver. Proof versions from San Francisco, minted for collectors, were produced in much lower quantities, somewhere in the range of a few million. So, what makes any one of these worth more than a single cent? First, let's talk about errors. Error coins are some of the most valuable finds in circulation. They occur when something goes wrong during the minting process. Maybe the die was misaligned, or a planchet was struck multiple times, or even a foreign object got in the way during minting. These types of errors can result in coins that are unique, and uniqueness is key when it comes to coin value. In 2016, a few known varieties and errors began to gain attention among collectors. These include doubled dies, off-center strikes, die clashes, and more. Some error coins from 2016 have fetched hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, depending on rarity and condition point. One of the most notable varieties is the doubled die obverse, where the design appears doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. On the 2016 penny, this can appear in the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," or Lincoln's profile. Coins showing this doubling clearly and in uncirculated condition have been known to attract significant premiums from collectors. Another variety that commands attention is the BIE error, named for the tiny die break that can occur between the B and E in Liberty. Though not unique to 2016, if one of these is found on a coin from that year, and especially in pristine condition, it could attract interest. Another layer of intrigue is the condition of the coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. A 2016 penny graded MS70, mint state perfect, especially if it's a rare variety or error, could fetch a significantly higher price. Coin grading is typically done by third-party services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, and having a coin certified by one of these institutions adds credibility and often increases its market value. Now, let's tackle the elephant in the room, the $99 million penny. This astronomical figure has been floating around social media, blog posts, and clickbait headlines, leading many to believe that an ordinary penny from 2016 might be worth a small fortune. The truth is, no known 2016 Lincoln cent has ever sold for $99 million. In fact, no penny of any year has sold for that amount. The most expensive penny ever sold was a 1943 bronze Lincoln cent that went for around $1.7 million. So where does the $99 million figure come from? Most likely it stems from exaggeration, misinterpretation, or flat-out misinformation. Some online sellers list coins for outrageous prices, not necessarily to sell them, but to drive traffic to their stores or take advantage of unsuspecting buyers. There are listings on online marketplaces for coins priced at hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, but these are not indicators of true market value. A coin is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it, and in the world of numismatics, value is determined by rarity, demand, condition, and authenticity. Still, just because a 2016 penny isn't likely to make you a millionaire overnight doesn't mean it isn't worth checking. There are real examples of 2016 Lincoln cents with legitimate value. Some with rare errors have sold for $200, $500, even up to $1,500 in certified, mint state condition. Finding one of these coins in circulation would be an exciting discovery for any collector, beginner or expert. And here's where things get more interesting. In recent years, the growing popularity of coin collecting on platforms like TikTok and YouTube has reignited interest in modern coins. People are sharing their finds, showing off rare varieties, and creating communities around penny hunting. This has driven up the demand for certain coins and increased the number of people searching through their change for potential treasures. So, what should you be looking for if you want to examine your own 2016 pennies? Start by looking at the mint mark. If you see a D, you know it's from Denver. If you see an S, it's a proof coin, likely found in a set. These can already carry a premium if they're in good condition. Look closely at the details. Check for any signs of doubling, unusual gaps, raised lines, or other anomalies. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can help you identify subtle differences. Compare your coin to reference images from trusted sources like PCGS or NGC. If you think you've found something special, consider having it professionally graded. If your coin is in brilliant uncirculated condition, that means it looks as fresh as the day it was minted. You might already have something collectors are interested in. Even more so if it's a rare error variety. And remember, even if your 2016 penny isn't worth millions, it could still be part of a valuable collection. Coin collecting isn't just about the money, it's about history, art, and discovery. Another thing to consider is that coin values can change over time. What might not be worth much today could become more valuable in the future as collector interest grows and fewer high-quality examples remain. This is especially true of modern coins that people assume are worthless, and thus don't preserve. If you're holding onto a pristine 2016 Lincoln cent with a rare error or high grade, it could be worth considerably more in years to come. As for the $99 million rumors, use them as inspiration, not expectation. They reflect the dream of finding buried treasure in plain sight. But in reality, the real value lies in understanding what makes coins rare and desirable and being able to identify those traits. Whether it's a minting error, a rare variety, or just an incredibly well-preserved piece, these details are what separate common change from collectible treasure. So next time you get a handful of change, take a closer look. That unassuming penny might not be worth $99 million, but it could be worth far more than 1 cent. And in the process, you'll be joining a global community of treasure hunters, historians, and enthusiasts all drawn together by a shared curiosity about the coins in our pockets. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting! Would you like a shorter version of this for social media or an outro with a call to action for likes and subscriptions?